This man governs a country of more than 1.4 billion people. He leads the world's second-largest economy. He commands one of the most powerful militaries on Earth. And in 2018, China removed presidential term limits, allowing him to remain in power beyond the traditional 2 terms. Yet 50 years ago, he was a teenage boy sent away from Beijing during one of the most chaotic periods in modern Chinese history. So how did that boy become the most powerful political figure in China? June 15, 1953. Xi Jinping was born into revolutionary China. The Chinese Civil War had ended only a few years earlier. The Communist Party, led by Mao Zedong, had taken control of the country. Xi's father, Xi Jinping, was a veteran revolutionary and held senior positions in the new government. That meant Xi Jinping grew up inside Zhongnanhai, the heavily guarded leadership compound in Beijing. Elite schools, political privilege, protection. But the Communist Party of the 1950s and 60s was not stable. Power struggles were constant, and in 1962, Xi's father was purged from office during internal political disputes. He was sent away for labor and later imprisoned during the Cultural Revolution. The family fell from privilege overnight. In 1966, Mao launched the Cultural Revolution. Young people were mobilized as Red Guards. Intellectuals and officials were publicly criticized, humiliated, and sometimes imprisoned. Because of his father's status, Xi was labeled politically suspect. In 1969, at age 15, he was sent to Liangyahe, a remote village in Shanxi province, as part of the sent-down youth movement. There was no electricity, no running water. He lived in a yaodong, a cave dwelling carved into a hillside. He worked in the fields, carried manure, dug ditches. Like millions of urban youths, he was expected to learn from rural peasants and undergo ideological re-education. The transition was harsh, but over time, he integrated into village life. He later described those years as formative. He attempted to join the Communist Party multiple times and was rejected repeatedly before finally being accepted in 1974. By then, Mao's era was nearing its end. In 1976, Mao died. China entered another period of transition. Deng Xiaoping rose to power and began opening China's economy to market reforms. Xi's father was rehabilitated politically. Xi Jinping returned to Beijing and enrolled at Tsinghua University, studying chemical engineering. But instead of remaining in the capital's political circles, he chose to begin his career in rural and provincial roles. In the early 1980s, he worked in Hebei province. Then he moved to Fujian, where he would spend nearly 2 decades rising through local leadership positions. He built a reputation as disciplined and cautious. He avoided high-profile political fights. In 1987, he married Peng Liyuan, a well-known singer in China. His public image gradually expanded. In 2002, he became governor of Zhejiang province, a key economic region. In 2007, he was briefly appointed party secretary of Shanghai after a corruption scandal removed the previous leader. That same year, he entered the Politburo Standing Committee, China's top decision-making body. He was widely seen as a compromise candidate, acceptable to different factions within the party. In 2012, he became General Secretary of the Communist Party, and in 2013, he became President of China. Once in power, Xi launched a sweeping anti-corruption campaign. Officially, it targeted both high-level tigers and low-level flies. Millions of officials have been investigated since 2012. Supporters argue it restored discipline and public trust. Critics argue it also consolidated power and removed rivals. Xi also centralized authority, strengthening party oversight across government, military, and state-owned enterprises. In 2017, Xi Jinping thought was written into the party constitution. In 2018, the National People's Congress removed presidential term limits. That decision marked a turning point. It allowed Xi to remain president beyond the traditional 25-year terms established after Mao's era. Internationally, China expanded its global influence through the Belt and Road Initiative. Domestically, technology became a key tool of governance, including expanded surveillance systems and digital monitoring. During the COVID-19 pandemic, China implemented strict lockdown policies under a zero-COVID strategy. Those policies were later lifted in late 2020, following economic strain and public frustration. Today, Xi Jinping stands at the center of China's political system. His supporters describe him as a stabilizing force who restored national confidence. His critics describe him as a leader who has reversed earlier trends toward institutional limits on power. But one fact remains undeniable. He survived political purges. He endured rural exile. He waited. He advanced step by step through one of the most complex political systems on Earth. From a cave dwelling in Shanxi to the leadership of a global superpower. Power, in his story, was not seized overnight. It was accumulated slowly, quietly, patiently, and when the moment came, he was ready. If you want more stories where power, politics, and history collide, follow For the Ones History doesn't explain simply.